The Berlin Board of Education, committed to continuous improvement.
I'd like to call this Board of Education meeting to order. 7:10. Apologize for the late start. We just came from the new teachers welcome dinner, which is always a highlight for us. We'd like to start this meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everybody. Still working now? Is that better? Hey, look at that. We'd like to start the evening with a presentation by our Berlin High School students. So with that, I'll turn it over to Eileen.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for coming tonight, and we're happy to host all of you here in our beautiful auditorium. So when I found out about the meeting and was asking if we were doing a student presentation, there's so many amazing offerings at the high school, but I have to say that in the beginning of this year, I had some open office hours, and Ms. Downey came down to speak with me. And she took the opportunity to tell me about the Interact Club, and I was really very impressed. Not only do we have so many of our high school students involved in this club and program, but the other thing that I thought was very unique about the program is really its outreach from a global perspective and the opportunities, the leadership opportunities, the travel opportunities, the leadership conferences that our students have been afforded, the opportunities that they've been afforded. So I wanted to provide this opportunity for them to let you know more about the Interact Club and the amazing things that they have been doing with our students, as well as serving community and reaching out from a much larger perspective. So I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Downey, and she's going to introduce our students that are here tonight.
Good evening. As she said, I am Miss Lisa Downey, a math teacher here at the high school and a proud advisor to the Interact Club here. Why I really love this club and I'm very passionate about it is because it really is making the students global leaders, global learners, global citizens on a wider scale. Our members are reaching past the borders of the town of Berlin and learning what it has to offer, what the world has to offer when they graduate and they go off to college, the experiences they're gonna have, the people they're gonna be mixed with that are not what they're used to walking around the halls at the high school here. I'm gonna pass it off to the students though, because I think they're the ones that have the experiences to share with you. So first is Gabby Padavina. She's the co-president of the club this year.
Hello everyone, I am Gabby Padavina. As Mrs. Downey said, I am one of the co-presidents of Interact for this school year. Rotary is a worldwide organization. As Interact, there are over 100 clubs just within Connecticut, and Rotary is involved in within 200 countries. It is truly a worldwide organization, and when I say that, I mean that, because what I will talk about later, it truly has exposed me to so many different opportunities and so many different things that I feel that if I were not a part of this club, I would not have the opportunities that I received. So this past June, I attended the World Affairs Seminar in Waukesha, Wisconsin. I know, Wisconsin, kind of funny. It seems like it's in the middle of nowhere, but when I arrived, there was so much more to it. When I got there were people from all over the world: Nigeria, Thailand, Europe, Russia, and even the Cayman Islands. Cayman Islands, didn't know that there's people that actually live there that I was gonna meet one day, but I met them. When I went on this trip, I was exposed to so many friends and I met so many things, and I will talk about that more on the next slide. So 3 of the main things that me and my peers took away from these trips was establishing connections, expanding our horizons, and experiencing cultures. And the theme of World Affairs that year was innovation. Innovation, how we can change the world, how we can be future leaders, and what we can do to change it. Here in Berlin, we see technology. That's our main form of innovation. But my friend from Nigeria, that was my roommate named Victoria, she saw an innovation in a completely different way. Her grandfather started a farm when she was around 4 years old. This farm started off just with cocoa, a basic crop, but they were walking to the river every day getting water. 20 years later, the grandfather has industrialized this business. It is an export and import and one of the largest businesses in the country through innovation. The irrigation system that they began to build industrialized this company and gave access to it to people all across the world. Because Victoria has experienced this, she saw the farm grow. She saw how her life has changed and how she was able to attend this trip because Rotary helped. One of the organizations that we work with or have worked with in the past is the Global Water Project. Rick Lawrence, who is the head of that, has come in to speak to us before, and we have actually helped to fund a well in Guatemala. The Global Water Project changed my friend Victoria's life. They have set up a family business that will bring money in and has brought their family out of poverty. Interact and Rotary has exposed me to so many different things and has truly given me an idea as to what changes go from not only just within Connecticut, but even in Wisconsin. There is a huge thing with urban farming. Here, it's technology. We continue to grow as a world, but we're also growing as a community. And after this experience, I feel that I have brought back so many valuable lessons that I hope to implement this future school year. Thank you. Now I will pass it off to Miss Downey, sorry.
It'll be Matt, though, in a second. So other than the World Affairs Seminar, which I should note, we've sent 11 students from Berlin High School to Wisconsin. It's a fully paid for event, airfare, lodging, food, and students that aren't sponsored can go if their parents kind of pay for them. So we always advertise it to our members at meetings that, hey, this is coming up if you want to go. If they do want to go, Rotary actually coordinates them to travel with the group, so they ride the same plane, they stay in the same place. It's at Carroll College in Wisconsin, so they stay in dorms. But we have sent 11 leaders, and this June, we actually are sending another, Grace Machado, who is a junior at Berlin High School right now. Besides that, Rotary Youth Exchange is our other big thing that really makes our learners learn about the world. We offer exchanges through this list of 29 countries, but really it's a list of over 100 countries that students can visit, either short-term or long-term. And we've done a little bit of both here in the school. So Matt is gonna talk to you about his.
Hi everyone, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Matt Lavoie. I'm a senior at Berlin High School, and I'm also the vice president of the Interact Club. So I was lucky enough to go on a 3-week exchange to Torino, Italy. And as you can see, this was my brother Steve, who was from that city, and he was able to travel here, and I was able to travel there. So kind of a little bit about my experience. I was there over the summer from end of June to mid-July, and these are some of the things that I was able to see. So in the upper left, I was able to go to Venice, which I was very happy about going to because it's a beautiful city and a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So being able to do that at such a young age is definitely a beneficial thing of this program. And then one of the other things that was surprising about my trip was this food. So this is basically like rolls with ham on top of it and mozzarella. And this is kind of like one of the main foods the main dishes that they had in Italy. So I thought that was surprising. It wasn't just pasta and pizza. It was a lot more than that. And then the other pictures are kind of just the city that I was in. So I was in Torino. As you can see in the upper right, that's like the city. And then there was a mountain range right outside of it called Mount Cenis, which is a very beautiful view. If you ever get the chance to go up there, I highly recommend it. And overall, just the whole experience that I was able to go through with the whole Rotary Youth Exchange was just such a great experience. Definitely being able to adapt to new situations in a new country was definitely one thing that helped me throughout the exchange and definitely later in life also. So I'm going to give this back to Ms. Downey.
And it's going to look really good on their college resume when they're applying right now by, November 1st. I should note that that trip cost Matt a plane ticket, insurance through Rotary, and his passport, I think. His mom's in the audience to verify that. So it's really inexpensive. Rotary covers everything else. His sister actually did the program and traveled to Italy through Rotary Youth Exchange and Interact when she was a student here at the high school as well. And I heard she's going to Sweden actually very soon. So once the students experience travel here and they get a taste of it, they don't want it to stop. And it's going to really stick with them the rest of their life. The next student is not actually here in person because she's in Finland. Some of you know Siobhan Dornfried as an outstanding student at Berlin High School. She was the president of the junior class last year. She is on student council, in Upbeat, in Interact, among other various things, and she is spending her school year in Finland. So this is a little clip from her.
Olen Siobhan Dornfried ja olen Moi, minä olen Siobhan Dornfried ja olen vaihto-oppilas Suomessa. So what I just said in Finnish is, hi, my name is Siobhan Dornfried and I am an exchange student in Finland. This year with Rotary Youth Exchange, I've had the opportunity to come to Finland and spend an entire year studying in Nosianen Lukio, which is like the equivalent of high school. Next year, I will be going and being a senior at Berlin High School. And I found out about the Rotary Youth Exchange program through my involvement with the Interact community, and I am so grateful that I found out about it and that I am here. I absolutely love Finland. Right now I'm sitting in the forest. I don't know if there is anything better than that. It is so beautiful here and everyone is so kind. I'm really trying to learn the language and learning a lot about the culture. It's been so much fun so far. I've been here for about 2 months and I really can't wait for the rest of the year. Yeah. Kiitos, moikka!
So if you're on social media and you go to YouTube and you search her name, she has her own channel now and she posts monthly vlogs of her travels. It's super awesome to watch the little 5-minute videos of her sailing in Finland and walking the streets, and it's pretty cool. And that trip actually cost her $4,000 total for the whole year there. Rotary covers everything else. They also give her a monthly stipend of $100 a month spending money since she can't work while she's there. And our next speaker actually isn't here either. I hope this plays.
Hola, my name is Camila Viran from Chillán, Chile. I was an exchange student last year in Berlin High School. My experience as an exchange student over there was really good. All the people in school were super fun and they were always there for me to help me to learn English and to study history and do math and stuff. It was really good. Also, I did clubs as an Interact club and I did track and field with my friends. That was also really nice. I met a lot of people that changed me somehow. I learned how to be grateful and I learned how to survive without my family for a whole year. Thank you to all the people who were there for me and for helping me a year and being my new family. I miss everyone. If I could, I would return home. And yeah, thank you for hosting me 1 year. It was really fun. Adios.
So Cami was our exchange student last year. And once you're part of the exchange program, it's not like they just leave you here. There is overhead supervisors. I'm one of the Rotary Youth Exchange counselors certified through the State Department. I take a yearly exam to get certified. And they partake in a lot of different orientation and trips. Last year, Cami got to go see New York. She got to do a West Coast trip, East Coast trip. She went to Washington, D.C. So they really get to see a lot of America while they're here. And our last speaker for tonight is Cherry, and she is here visiting from Bangkok, Thailand.
Hello and good evening, everybody. Nice to meet you all. I'm on Ariya Manomaipan. I'm from Bangkok, Thailand. So now I'm 16 years old and I'm in junior. I will stay here for a whole year. So first time that I come here in Berlin High School, I feel like I'm in a maze. Everything is like, what way can I go to my class? And I'm from an all-girls school, and everything is very weird for me when I talk to a boy. Yeah, but I think it's a good experience. So everything in United States is very different from my country, such as our religion is Buddhism. We have king and president, and Thailand is very hot, but here is very cold. Yeah. But I like Berlin because it's quiet, and Berlin is very a beautiful town. About Interact Club, I was a volunteer in Berlin Fair, and it's very fun. The last thing that I want to say is everyone in school is very nice. My teacher is very nice too. Thank you.
And in the corner are her two host sisters. And this is kind of a shout out to all the families in town that really help with this program. The Nims, the Amasis, the Fascinos, the Boscos, and the Marinos have all opened their homes to Cherry and to Cami to live with them at 3 months at a time, taking them along on family trips, letting them sit with them for dinner, helping them with homework, commuting them back and forth to programs. So the families here are really great. And the families that send their kids off, the Lavoys and the Dornfrieds, to trust the program and trust their children to go off to these foreign countries with foreign families, it's something really special, and you really are giving a gift to your children. So that really ends and wraps up the program. As you can see, we're really building global learners, global citizens, so that when they leave the high school, these experiences they're going to carry with them for the rest of their life. Learning language, as you heard from Siobhan, she's also taking twice a week Finnish classes that Rotary pays for, so she can learn the language when she's there outside of her schooling. So it's just a really great club, and I'm really happy to be the advisor of it and have such great members behind me. I think we just hit 180 members, so. And if you want more information, I thought there'd be more people here from the town. But Thursday, November 13th, we have Rich Friedman, who has a decade of experience coming to the school here to present on the exchange program for families that are interested. So come if you're interested or want to hear more. Thank you. Questions?
Thank you very much for that presentation. It's always interesting to hear directly from the students with the programs that they're involved in. I happen to know that this is a great program because more years than I can count on my fingers and toes, I actually was a Rotary Youth Exchange student. So I get to spend 6 weeks actually in Germany, and it was very interesting. So,
were there 2 Germanys then?
There were 2 Germanys then. Yes, there were, and I was in both of them. So congratulations on what is really turning into a very successful program. Any questions for the students? Adam?
Just a general question. First of all, to the students, incredible experience. I mean, when I was in high school, if I went to New Britain, that was going far away. So, I mean, to go outside the country or have this experience is really incredible. So congratulations for giving your time and talents and being involved. I do have one question. If a student were to go overseas or so to another country for a year, when they come back, so if they leave during their junior year, do they come back to their senior year? How does that work?
So Siobhan right now will be coming back to Berlin High School and repeating her senior year. That was a personal decision on her end. She wanted to experience homecoming and prom and all the senior activities. But some high schools, I'm not necessarily sure about ours, sometimes work with the credit transfer because she is attending school while she's there. She is taking classes while she's there. So sometimes schools will work that out to transfer the credits so that they do not have to repeat the year.
Well, and I'll just say, I mean, it took me until I was well into my 20s to actually travel outside the country. So to have this experience now is just absolutely wonderful. And as you said, it's great for colleges to take a look at. I mean, to be that outgoing, to be willing to leave your family and your home for a period of time, or to embrace and welcome in other people into your homes. That's just a great experience. So congratulations. Nice job.
So I agree that it's a phenomenal experience to be able to travel when you're so young because it ignites something in you, a curiosity about the world, but also you learn, I think, a lot about yourself when you travel. That's my perspective. I hope it is yours too. But so it sounds like a great program. I'm curious to know how students are selected. Excuse me.
Although I did not travel outside of the country, the way I got selected for World Affairs was, so we start at like the regional district, and there are, I think, there are 120 students that go to a conference at Springfield College the year before, so the summer prior, and it's a leadership conference there, which is a lot more like hands-on and like team building activities, and you're placed in a group with kids from all across New England, and then from there, at the end of the day, we basically vote for the person that we think was like the most qualified to like the best leader of the day or like the most well-rounded person, and so the top 10 then go on, who get the most amount of votes go to World Affairs. So that's how I was selected to go to World Affairs.
Thank you.
Any other questions for our students?
Oh, and then for the Rotary Youth Exchange part of it, basically during the exchange night, Rich Friedman comes in and he'll kind of talk more about the whole program. And then from there, if you're still interested, you can contact him and kind of arrange like an application that you fill out. And he'll come and kind of interview you and check out the house to make sure that it's like a safe living condition for someone coming overseas. And then based on, obviously your application, how he perceives you, and that kind of all ties in together for how you get selected for the Rotary Youth Exchange.
Thank you.
Yep.
Did you want to say something? I thought you had.
I'm going to go by that look on your face. The answer's no.
Sorry.
Any other questions? We thank you very much for taking time after school and your other activities to come and spend time with us. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I think, as Cherry would say, kabuka.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda, we have our committee reports. We'll start with Alex. I know we're not going to have a report from Jenna because she informed me that she's taking an SAT class this evening.
Yes.
So we'll excuse her for tonight. Yeah. And Alex, we're moving on to you.
I think I missed the first one. I wanted to start my report with a statement from Hannah Schmolich, one of my peers. She's the president of the internship program, and she had to say about her club that the internship program established last spring is proud to state that the program is a success. There are over 10 businesses involved, all focusing on different areas of interest. Also, the program is offering a half credit this year to interns, adding an informational section on the school website, and developing both student and business marketing campaigns. So that's that regarding the internship program. I also want to report that we have Spirit Week coming up next week, leading up to our pep rally and homecoming game against Ram. I'm excited for that. They're finally a good team we get to play. They're 5-0. As you said, the PSATs for everyone is taking place tomorrow. And for seniors, we get the day off unless if you want to go to the optional college or career workshops and planning. And I also wanted to say that the all-night grad committee opened up an apparel store for anyone looking to buy BHS gear and support the class of 2019.
Excellent. Thank you, Alex. Any questions for Alex? All right. Correspondence to the board.
No correspondence.
No correspondence to the board this evening, so we will move to audience of citizens. Is there anyone who would like to address the Board of Education this evening? I don't see anybody jumping up and down, so we'll close that, and we're going to move to item number 5, which is personnel. Looks like we have some retirements that have been announced, so Brian, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Yes, we do. We have the retirement of Mary Salerno. Mary has been the department head at Berlin High School for numerous years. Mary is also a leader at the state level in training for the NJSS standards. Mary's retirement will definitely leave a void in the Berlin Public Schools. She's been a leader out front. She has devoted much of her time after teaching at the college level to Berlin High School. And Mary came and met with me last week, and she said it was time. Both her students, both her children are through the Berlin Public Schools, and she said it's just time. It's not just the level she's doing, and she said she would help us out anytime she could. So I wish Mary much success. The second, go ahead, you want to do your motion?
So I'll entertain a motion regarding Mary Salerno's retirement.
Move to accept the retirement of Mary Salerno, teacher of science at Berlin High School, effective June 30th, 2019. Also to thank her for her 18th year of service she has provided to the youth of Berlin, and to wish her good health and happiness in her retirement years.
I have a motion by Julia. Second by Carrie. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Next, we have the retirement of Jean Petrosky. Jean was a family consumer science teacher at McGee for a number of years, and when we shifted our programming in elimination of family consumer science, Jean had certification as a health teacher, and Jean taught health at McGee. Jean will be very missed at McGee. Jean taught in Farmington prior to becoming to McGee. Jean has had an impact on the students at McGee for a number of years, and we'll surely miss Jean.
Again, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to accept the retirement of Jean Petrosky, teacher of health at Catherine M. McGee School, effective June 30th, 2019. Also to thank her for the 18 years of service she has provided to the youth of Berlin, and to wish her good health and happiness in her retirement years.
I have a motion from Carrie.
Second.
Second by Julia. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Next, we have Sharon Anderson. Sharon Anderson has been a physical therapist at Emma Hart, as well as in other buildings for 30 years in Berlin. Sharon shifted to a part-time position several years ago. My relationship with Sharon goes back, and being in Berlin for 26 years, I taught Sharon's kids how to swim when I was 18 years old, and she was one of the people who told me you should really come to Berlin Public Schools. So we will surely miss Sharon. As I said, she slowly phased herself into retirement, going from full-time to part-time and now to full retirement. Sharon's done an outstanding job. It's been a great employee to the Berlin Public Schools.
Do I have a motion regarding Sharon Anderson's retirement?
Move to accept the retirement of Sharon Anderson, physical therapist at Emma Hart Willard School, effective June 30th, 2019. Also to thank her for the 30 years of service she has provided to the youth of Berlin, and to wish her good health and happiness in her retirement years.
I have a motion from Tim.
Second.
Second by Carrie. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. We wish them all well, although all take effect June 30th, so they'll be with us for the remainder of the year, which we're very happy about. Brian, this is earlier than we normally see retirement, so if you could just comment on that, and also what opportunity that opens for the district, knowing this in advance.
So in previous years, we had a incentive for teachers to announce retirement by October 1st, and then we had a second date later in the year. And the incentive for announcing retirement by October 1st was a $2,500 one-time allotment stipend for them. The point of doing this is to, one, prepare for the budget season, as well as allowing us to go out and look for new teachers for those positions. The belief in Berlin has always been to hire the best teachers, and being able to go out to the job fairs early offers us that opportunity to prepare for those positions that we have. This will allow us to attend job fairs that take place in early April and May, to be looking for those positions rather than be looking for them in June or July. at the end of the year. So I appreciate the board's support in putting that back in to the teacher's contract and allowing this incentive to be in place.
Thanks, Brian. To the board, if you remember at least the last 2 years of budgets, we were still finding out about retirements right up until essentially the last day. So hopefully this gives us an opportunity to find our teachers and staff earlier rather than later, and we can plan for that. Moving on, we'll go to the consent agenda. Is there anything that anyone would like to add or remove from the consent agenda, or questions regarding the consent agenda? Hearing no questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I have a motion from Julia, second from Tim. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. And moving right along to new business. First item here is the facilities-related updates. Normally, Director of Business Operations, Jeff Cugno, would be here to report on this, but he is actually at a Board of Finance meeting this evening representing the school. So, Brian, I don't know if we have any.
I know that you received a copy of the letter that Mr. Cugno wrote to the Public Building Commission asking just for some status reports on various aspects. We've not received any correspondence back other than to say that they've received a letter. I believe the Public Building Commission meets tonight, or maybe it's tomorrow, but they're meeting soon. We're hoping that we get some response at this time. Other than that, for facilities update, there's nothing to report.
Under agenda item 7, subset B is the official 2018-19 district enrollment report. So I will turn that to you, Brian.
Looking at the enrollment, the October 1 enrollment for this year is 2,787. This is a 6-student increase from last year. So relatively consistent and steady enrollment, not a great increase, but that also is with the addition of many choice students to keep the enrollment at that level. Class sizes at the elementary remain consistent. There is sometimes the bubbles that we talk about where you have to have an intermediate grade level where you may increase a little, but we have not decreased or increased the class sizes. They remain consistently favorable. And you can look at the McGee as well as the high school as far as the numbers. I don't know if there's any questions.
I do have one question.
Sure.
I know last year around budget season when we were discussing class sizes at the high school. I know that was not included in this report. Do you think we could get a report of enrollment
Sure.
for each class at the high school?
Yes, I can put in the packet a course master file for you, which will give you the listing of courses as well as the number of students in each course and how many of each course.
Thank you.
Brian, if there's no other questions regarding enrollment, you can roll right into the district continuous improvement plan.
So last meeting, Dr. McGurk gave a presentation on the continuous improvement plan, and what we wanted to do is make it official and have the board vote to accept it so that it's into the minutes as our improvement plan as we work to structure the budget to meet those needs, as well as focus our SLOs and goals to accomplish this.
Does the board have any questions or comments relative to the district continuous improvement plan as presented in our packet?
I'll just make a comment as a representative on the subcommittee to which I this was presented. I thought it was a really thoughtful plan, very comprehensive, very ambitious, and brings our, I say ambitious in a positive way, so Brian chuckle at that, but I think it's important to be ambitious when we're talking about improvement, right, of the system. So I was quite impressed with the goals that were set therein, and they weren't just goals, there were, at least from what you presented, there seemed to be well thought out plans to execute those tasks contained therein, so.
Thank you, Carrie. If there's no other questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion regarding the continuous improvement plan.
Move to approve the district continuous improvement plan 2018 to 2019 as presented.
Second.
Hold that thought. I have a motion by Julia.
Second by me.
Second by Carrie. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Item D, discussion about the completion of Berlin High School renovation project. This is a request that I had put on here. We continue to have these discussions about where the high school stands. We continue to hear as a board that there are still outstanding issues. The ones that are at the top of the list are we still have a leaking roof. We still have the issue with the ductwork on the roof, whether it's wrapped appropriately, not wrapped appropriately. Do we have a potential mold issue here? How's that what that looks like down the road? Most recently, I heard that some of the plumbing joints in the building were beginning to leak in the ceilings, and while they were being addressed, is a concern for me. It's a concern for me when I can run into people out in the public and they can pull up their smartphones and show me video of leaking within the building. So we have requested, there is a letter that went to the Public Building Commission. We have not received a response back from that yet, but as Brian said, they are supposed to meet either tonight or tomorrow. Although considering the number of times that we've asked for this information, it's a little disappointing to me that we have to wait for the next, it's always the next meeting. And I've also understand that they have requested a report from somebody. We've got no documentation to this. CES, I guess is the company, about these issues, but we have no documentation on it. And which leads me to this question is, do we as a Board of Education want to hire someone to do our own reports? Sometimes reports can be hired with folks that are self-serving and may not be objective. So I open this up for a discussion, and we certainly can talk about whether we should or want to do that, but I think it remains important that we keep this kind of top of mind as the push will come to close this project out at some point. And as Brian talked about, there are other grants that we could be applying for relative to student security, school security, that we cannot with this open, but at the same time, I, for one, am not willing to sign off on a project that we know that there are issues with. So with that said, I open this up to the board for public comment, questions, just general discussion. I think that this is a perfect place to have it. So, Julia,
I have a question. Do we have any idea of what that would cost to hire someone to do this report for us? Ballpark figure?
I do not know that. I think it's something that we would have to consider talking with folks on. Brian, I don't know if you want to add to that.
I'm not familiar other than that CES was a company that actually worked on the building that the Public Building Commission had do the evaluation. That's what Mr. Cugno shared with me. That CES is a reputable company. The outcome of the report we do not have a copy of. So at this point, I don't know what it would cost to do. And I guess the question really is the ductwork outside the building acceptable based on the specs that we signed off on, or that we originally signed off on the plans? And that's the question. And the liability moving forward, if they're not sealed with, other than being painted, you know, the liability will become the board's to maintain, and if there's an issue and so on. So I'm not sure where we want to stand on that. And I'm not sure, Julia, to answer your question, if it's 10,000 or 5,000 to have a study done. I think we really first have to get a copy of the study that they had done.
So will we have more information on that next time we meet when Jeff is here?
Our hope is that the letter that Jeff wrote that you had a copy of, if they
Right.
answer the questions to the letter, we'll have all the information we need.
Okay, when we get the response.
Right.
Okay.
So potentially premature to be having this discussion of concerns, Matt, if the letter comes back or the response comes back and says, you're right, we're going to address all these things.
So while on the surface, I would say it would appear that we are premature, I think we need to keep in mind that February of 2019 will be 2 years since the ribbon cutting, and 2.5 years approximately since it was supposed to be complete, and yet we are still asking for these issues. I think it's important that we keep this topic open, and we continue to express our concern with where the building stands. There's been a huge investment on the part of this town in this building, and as you look at it on the surface, it is absolutely beautiful. They've done a very, very nice job with the building. No one's denying that. It's the things that are hidden behind the, if you will, behind the curtain, no pun intended, as we sit in our auditorium, that are a concern to me, that someone is going to come to the board and ask us to sign off as complete. And once we make that signature, put that signature on the paper, we own it. And I think that we need to continue to have this. Now, we have asked in writing for the results of their study, and we've asked a series of questions, as you know. But it's also a request we've made numerous times now and have not gotten a response.
Have we formally requested prior to the letter that Jeff sent a couple of weeks ago? To that level?
No.
Go ahead.
Not to that level. There's been emails, and Jeff has met with the new chair of the Public Building Commission and had conversations, but not to the level of a formal letter as such.
Adam?
Given the fact that the town already has people engaged in this, to your point, I think that you want to keep this top of mind. I would suggest that we wait and see what the report comes back with. And then if there are specific areas of concern, whether it's ductwork, leaks, things like that, then I think you would have a better frame of mind based on that report to be able to specify specifically if you're going to have somebody, a third party, come in on the Board of Ed side. I think you'd want to do it in more of a directed manner and have them look at specific items. So given the fact that the request has been made in writing, given the fact that Jeff has made that request and that also has a background in construction, I think it's helpful as well. And not that we want to wait months and months and months, but I think you wait and see what they come back with so we can make a more educated request moving forward.
Yeah, and I would agree, just to clarify that I'm not trying to dismiss this. I'm not trying to dismiss this at all and say that we shouldn't talk about it, but since we've asked and we're waiting for answers, until we get those answers, we might just be talking about the same things that we've already talked about that may or may not be addressed, just to be straight.
I agree with what everyone is saying at this point. I think that it's my job at this point to keep it front and center. We're going to continue to ask until we get the answers, I guess is really what it comes down to. Any other comments relative to the building project? Before we move to everyone's favorite of item number 8, I just want to point out that in front of you, you have a formal invitation to meet with the NEASC visitation team. Please note that it is a Sunday, October 28th, when they arrive here, and that is when the Board of Education gets to meet with the NEASC folks. So that's what these invitations are in front of us, so that's coming up pretty quickly. So just be aware of that. It's important that we are present and available to the NEASC team. With that, we'll go to item number 8. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, sure, there's the one from Adam. I have a motion from Adam. Do I have a second? Second from Carrie.
Have extensive discussion on this matter.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. We are adjourned.